All right, let's jump right into one of the most fascinating trials from the epic Chinese novel Journey to the West. We're talking about a seemingly impossible obstacle, a village completely gripped by fear, and a really dark secret lurking just beneath the water. So, we open with our hero, the monk Tang Sanzang, and he's just at his wit's end. He and his disciples, they're on this sacred quest to India to get these Buddhist scriptures. And after everything, I mean everything, they've already been through, they've just hit another brick wall. And that feeling, that sense of how can we possibly go on, well, it just perfectly sets the stage for what's about to happen. After leaving the kingdom of Chao-Chi, their journey west just stops, dead in its tracks. And the strange thing is, there are no demons around, no bandits waiting to ambush them. Nope, it's just this massive, formidable force of nature blocking their path. Of course, Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, he's always the one who's got to check things out first. So he zips over to a stone tablet by the riverbank, and what does he find? Just a single, kind of ominous number etched into the stone. 800. So what does 800 mean? Well, in ancient Li is about a third of a mile. You do the math. We're talking about a river over 250 miles wide. This thing is basically an inland sea. It's vast, there are no boats, and that little warning on the tablet, very few pedestrians, is a chilling, chilling understatement. And this moment, it just brilliantly illustrates the dynamic of the whole group. You've got Tang Sansang, their master, literally weeping because he's so crushed by the spiritual weight of their journey. And then you've got his disciple, Jubaji, or Pigsy, who hears the sound of gongs and drums in the distance, and his first thought isn't about crossing the river, it's, ooh, I bet there's food. Okay, so let's follow that sound, because this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. Those gongs and drums lead them away from the natural problem of the river and smack into a much darker, very human mystery. They follow the sound to a farmhouse, and inside there's a family performing this really solemn ritual. Sanzang, ever the polite one, asks if they can stay the night and then gently inquires about the ceremony, because you can just feel the tension in the air. Well, the owner of the house, an old man, he just sighs and shakes his head. And then he reveals the terrible secret behind their ritual, a secret that's directly tied to that uncrossable river. Turns out, it's a price the village has to pay every single year. And this is it. This is where we learn what the real obstacle is. The problem isn't the water itself. Nope. The problem is what lives in the water. The pilgrims have just stumbled upon a whole community living under the thumb of a terrifying local god. The villagers call their deity the Inspired King, but let me tell you, he is no benevolent protector. He's a fish monster who has basically turned this river into his own personal kingdom, and he demands a horrific price for the village's safety. So the old man explains this terrible bargain. Every year, a young boy and a young girl are offered up as a sacrifice to the river god, and if they don't comply, the monster unleashes his fury on the entire village. This ritual of fear has defined life here for years. Now, the old man uses this fascinating phrase to describe what the monster does, 兴风作浪. Literally, it means to stir up wind and waves, which describes his physical power over the river. But figuratively, as an idiom, it just means to cause trouble. It's the perfect description for his malicious role, isn't it? This crisis really puts a spotlight on the unique roles each member of the team plays. I mean, this isn't just a random group of guys. They function like a specialized unit, and this moment puts all their strengths and their weaknesses right on display. You can see this clear division of labor, right? Sanzang is the polite, human leader who handles the diplomacy, but he gets overwhelmed. Wukong is the action hero, the one who investigates and gets the facts. And Baji, well, he's driven by his earthly appetites, which, in a very strange way, often ends up leading them exactly where they need to go. So why does this story even matter? I mean, it's not just another monster of the week adventure. The conflict at Tongtian River is actually a really powerful cultural critique that's embedded deep within this epic journey. This is where the story pivots from a simple adventure to some serious social commentary. It draws a really sharp line against what's known as improper worship. The message is crystal clear. Any so-called god that demands human sacrifice isn't a god at all. It's a demon preying on human fear. And rooting out this kind of corrupt, fake faith, that becomes a core mission for our heroes.
And this is where you can see that every single piece of the story is symbolic. The massive, isolating river isn't just water, it's the long, hard path to enlightenment. That horrific annual sacrifice isn't just a plot point, it represents humanity's raw fear when facing forces it can't control. And the arrival of our heroes? Well, they stand for something new, the power of wisdom to overcome not just monsters, but the superstitions that feed them.
So the pilgrims finally understand the full scope of the problem. They're not just trying to cross a river anymore. They have to save an entire village from a monster who's posing as a god. Which leaves us with this final provocative question. And it sets the stage for one of the most clever and daring plans in their entire journey.